Hey, so today I decided I was going to do something a little different than my usual, which is, well, I don't really know what my usual is, but, yeah, it's going to be, reviewing a game. And I don't know, I might like to make this a normal segment. Anyway, today is going to be then one of my favorite games of all time, if not the top of the list. But, I don't like to play favorites, so I'm just saying one of the top. I can't say it's just the one, but it probably is. Okay. So that game is Silent Hill 2. For anyone who is, a fan of the series, this game often gets picked as the favorite of people's. And some people say it's overrated and whatever. But, it's my favorite. It's been my favorite since I originally played it, which was a couple of years after the release, like maybe 2 or 3. And it was my favorite game then. It has retained that. Nothing has ever topped it. Other games have come close, but this is the one for me. Okay, so what is it about Silent Hill 2? You got the same thing as the first game. They're not related to each other. Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2 is not a sequel to Silent Hill 1. The only similarity is that it takes place in the town of Silent Hill. And there are monsters, and there's, similarities in that sense, but they don't actually relate to each other, sort of in the way that a lot of Final Fantasy games don't actually carry on the story from the previous ones. So that's what Silent Hill 2 is not related to Silent Hill 1. But it is its own game. It's great. Okay, well, maybe I should start with what isn't so great? I don't know. Because that's harder for me to be able to say. Because I'm a fan, obviously. Well, I don't know. I guess you could say the controls are kind of messed up. I guess that's a complaint that people give in, any survival horror game, situation. Not so much the new ones like Dead Space and whatnot, because those are a little different. They're become more actiony, scary stuff, and they know how to make a good battle system. Silent Hill 2 isn't that good with controls, and battling isn't that exciting. It isn't fun. It isn't fun to fight. No. It's a little tough, and maybe that adds to the mood because it's hard to play it. A bit. Not enough to break the game. It's just a little challenging. I'm just gonna show my random amount of Silent Hill 2 stuff because I have quite a bit. Original version, greatest hits. I'm a really big fan of Silent Hill 2. Anyway, so, the controls aren't that great. I would say they are better than Resident Evil 1, everyone says that's got those tank controls for the characters, basically. This is easier to control. However, it isn't the easiest thing. That's definitely a complaint that a lot of people have, is that it's weird to control it. Which is too bad because, that makes a lot of people stop playing, is because they don't like how it controls. Well, if you're used to all this current gen stuff, of course you're going to have a problem with it. I mean, everything now is really, really smooth. If you want to go back and play a slightly older game, I mean, this is PS2, this isn't PS1 even. You just have to get over that, I guess. And the complaint is the graphics in a way. This was an earlier PS2 game, so it does make sense that it doesn't have the greatest graphics ever. It came out in 2001, so, that was 1 year into the PS2's life cycle. They didn't have time they hadn't yet perfected everything. Unlike Silent Hill 3, which has some of the best graphics on a PS2 I've ever seen. It's really amazing. That could be next. It was almost up to what's going on now. It was really good. Really good for a PS2. But Silent Hill 2 doesn't have the greatest graphics. The cutscenes are pretty cool, though, graphically. I know you shouldn't judge things by cutscenes, but I can't help it because it's really nice cutscenes too. And the game isn't that bad, okay? It's obviously a PS2 game, it's just sort of a little interesting. This is the Xbox version. This one came with extra stuff. It came with the new Maria mission, Born from a Wish. And then after that, then this one came out. Greatest Hits also had that edition. See, there you go. Which wasn't in the original PS2 release. Anyway, games. Lots of Silent 2s. All the same cover, but the Xbox One has slightly different coloration for some reason. I guess to prove it was a little different. Okay. What was I saying? Silent Hill 2 graphics. They're fine. I don't know what else really there is bad to say about the game. Maybe it's short. You can probably beat it in your first playthrough in maybe 8 to 10 hours, depending on how much you're exploring. But it's, you know, Silent Hill games have never been that long anyway. So I don't know. That's just how the series is. It's, you know, you have a story. It's not about like lots of random battles or anything. It's about the story, and so you just go through that. There's exploring, there's puzzles, but there isn't much beyond that, so you're not going to spend a ton of time playing, you know? However, I've played through Silent Hill 2 at least 8 times. Played through it way a lot, so it's given me tons of replayability and stuff, just like seeing things you've never seen before. Some things, there's a little bit of change. There's alternate endings. There's alternate endings, which is a big thing. I don't think I've seen them all yet. I've seen almost all of them by playing through them myself, not like watching YouTube videos, because it's kind of cheating. So, yeah, there's a lot to do in these games. It's just simple. I'm not talking about like playing through alternate branches or doing certain submissions. It's not that complex. This is not, you know, a 360 game. It doesn't have that ability to do that stuff. It's just something that I really enjoy going through. This is the Japanese PS2 re-release. It's basically like Greatest Hits, except whatever it is they call it in Japan. Okay, so it's a great game. You got alternate endings. You've got great characters. Going into the good stuff. Characters. They're really, really good. Everyone has their own weird quirks and problems, but you're really interested by them and what they have to say and what they're going to do and what's going to happen to them. The voice acting is a little stilted, but in comparison to other survival horror games of the day, it's pretty good. It's pretty good for, you know, in comparison to, come on, I mean, you almost became a Jill sandwich? What? No. Come on, guys. So, nice voice acting. The story is the main point, and it is probably the best point of the whole entire game. Silent Hill 2 is scary. Yes, it should be. It's a survival horror game. But it isn't as scary as, say, Silent Hill 3. I find that game a lot more terrifying. However, Silent Hill 2 has the best story overall, in my opinion. I love it. It's a great story. You don't expect things that are going to happen unless you've you know, been spoiled on the internet about what happens or what the big point is. But even though I found out what happened before I actually played through it, because someone wrote it online and they didn't put any sort of warning, and I guess that was fine because the game's old now. I still loved it. I was still shocked, and it still really affected me. The story is amazing. Amazing, amazing. Number one point to play the game is through the story. The puzzles, too, are pretty top-notch. I really like them. I think that the puzzles in Silent Hill games have definitely, you know, lost their luster after all these years. No doubt, because honestly, the new games, Silent Hill Homecoming, I didn't feel there was any sort of real puzzle in there at all. Granted, I did not play through the whole game, so I, you know, can't necessarily give a big review on that, or say that, but I just felt that way. Silent Hill Shattered Memories was also, you know, no, there were no puzzles. It was very simple. Very, very simple. But it was a good game still. Anyway, Silent Hill 2 has great puzzles. They're really tough if you set them to be a harder difficulty. They are pretty surprisingly difficult. And they're good. I like trying them, learn them, figure them out. And sometimes I can't. It's hard. This game they really know how to do it. So, I don't know. This game is amazing to me. And I will continue to replay it for tons of years because I just can't stop myself. And I don't know what else to do. I just pop this game in and play it. It's just that good to me. And it always will be, I assume. So, that's what I have to say about Silent Hill 2. It's my favorite game. And so I'm giving a very biased review, but I think if you give it a chance and you aren't totally off-put by the controls and, less than amazing stellar graphics, then I think you'll be able to get into the story and really enjoy it. Thanks for watching.